Hello, my name is Stephen Bigelow. I am the owner and operator of the candlestickforum.com website. Approximately 25 years ago, I first started learning about candlestick signals. Prior to that, I was probably one of the worst investors in the world. I was the one that was always buying at the top and selling at the bottom. And when candlestick signals came along, it made a lot of sense to me. It put common sense investment practices into a graphic depiction. One of the first things I learned about candlestick analysis was that prices do not move based upon fundamentals. Prices move based upon the perception of fundamentals. And the candlestick signals were merely the graphic depiction of what was going on in investor sentiment. And my initial studies showed with a high degree of accuracy that the candlestick signals basically put the probabilities in your favor. Now, these probabilities were developed by the Japanese rice traders starting 400 years ago. These rice traders not only became wealthy, but they became legendarily wealthy in Japan. And they did it by taking bar charts and adding one simple element to it. They boxed in the open and the close. And essentially a candlestick signal is when it opens here and closes above where it opens, it creates a white candle. If it opens here and closes below where it opened, it creates a dark candle. That doesn't necessarily mean the price is up or down on the day. The signals are just creating investor sentiment graphics from where they opened on any given time frame. And the nice thing about candlesticks is they work exceedingly well on all time frames, whether you use in a 1 minute, 5 minute, 15-minute chart combination for trading the E-minis, or whether you're a long-term investor using the daily, weekly, and monthly chart combination to analyze long-term trends. Fortunately, being the worst investor in the world, I could graphically see where I was exuberantly buying at the top and what type of signals. Once I recognized the signals, I could tell that this was the time to be out of a trade instead of getting into a trade. Instead of being the panic seller at the bottom, I now looked for trends where they were starting to bottom, and I started looking for a candlestick buy signal. We all know that it's very hard on the emotions to buy when everybody is selling, but the information that was created inside these candlestick signals show when that investor sentiment is starting to change. And the nice thing about candlestick analysis is you do not have to be adverse or educated greatly in technical analysis. Candlestick signals have basic truisms. And once you learn a few truisms about each candlestick signal, you start to understand why prices move, and your insights are those of a professional investor that may have taken decades of getting experience. It is all built into candlestick signals and turns you into a successful investor very quickly. And the information built into each signal gives you the opportunity to be involved in the big price moves. Breaking out of a fry pan bottom, which is created by indecisive little candlestick signals for months. A very simple gap up tells you it's time to buy, and that your enthusiasm coming into this price move is probably going to be very strong and produce very strong earnings or strong returns. Recognizing patterns, such as the cradle pattern, with a series of dojis, which represent indecision. Once that indecision is resolved, you can tell which way that price is going to move, and it usually does it with a very strong, forceful price move. Candlestick signals also alert investors when a big price break is about ready to occur, and what type of patterns to look for to take advantage of those huge price moves. Once I learned how to use the candlestick signals effectively, I was the one that was buying at the appropriate times instead of selling at the wrong times. Simple little truisms such as a doji followed by a gap up is usually going to start a very strong price trend. Using the candlestick signals just puts the advantage of knowing what's going on in investor sentiment, which is a reoccurring process year after year, decade after decade, centuries after centuries. Investors will always trade with the same perceptions. What candlestick signals do for you is identify what those perceptions are and allows you to take advantage of the price moves as they are beginning. Once again, knowing that I was the worst investor in the world, instead of panic selling at the bottom, I was now looking for the buy signal at the bottom. When emotions are very depressed or investor sentiment is very depressed at this time, there's absolutely no reason to buy a position. The candlestick investor has the advantage of seeing where the investor sentiment was starting to change and gets you positioned into a good strong price move well before everybody else. Not only do candlestick signals illustrate when it's time to get in, but it also illustrates which signals and patterns are going to be the strongest for the very strong price moves. A doji followed by a gap up, especially through the moving averages, represents a very strong change of investor sentiment, and this is where you make big profits consistently by knowing that you're in the right direction at the right time. Come join us at thecandlestickforum.com. All we try to do is teach people how to trade profitably with candlestick signals and patterns. We have a chat room that runs consistently during market hours. We have trainings for members on Monday nights and Thursday nights. We have trainings to show each aspect of candlestick analysis, of each technique for getting into profitable trades at the appropriate time and getting out of trades at the appropriate time, showing people how to take profits at the high percentage sell signal area. We also have demonstrations on how to find breakouts and how to put in effective stop losses. Everything in candlestick analysis is accumulated by common sense investment practices. Come join us. We'd like to have you at the Candlestick Forum.